Sure, here's an original version of the text in English. Exactly 57 years ago, in March 1968, the U.S. Congress passed legislation that eliminated the requirement for Federal Reserve banks to hold gold certificates as reserves against their Federal Reserve note liabilities. Since then, the U.S. government has been operating without any real accountability. But in a recent shocking revelation, we might have finally uncovered why. Enter the magic money computers. These are computers that can literally create money out of thin air. How does this work? Well, they simply issue payments. There are approximately 14 of these computers scattered throughout various government departments such as the Treasury, Health and Human Services (HHS), the State Department, and the Department of Defense (DoD). They collectively send trillions of dollars out of nowhere. No wonder the US public debt has skyrocketed to $36.6 trillion, a staggering increase of $14 trillion in just the past 5 years. This system of financial manipulation is part of the reason why, back in 2009, a pseudonymous developer named Satoshi Nakamoto created Bitcoin, a decentralized currency designed to free us from government control. As economist Friedrich Hayek once said, we need to create a system that removes power from the government. But it couldn't be done violently. It would have to be done in a way they couldn't stop. Hayek predicted this move over 40 years ago. While Bitcoin's price may seem stagnant recently, massive shifts have been occurring under the surface. The market is undergoing a transformation right before our eyes. As Warren Buffett says, the stock market is a device that transfers wealth from the impatient to the patient. The same could be said for Bitcoin. Bitcoin is still, by far, the best performing asset, even after a 25 to 30% correction. There are numerous bullish developments for Bitcoin, such as the establishment of strategic Bitcoin reserves, the SEC backing off from lawsuits, advancements in stablecoin regulations, discussions on market structure legislation, and the White House hosting a crypto summit. These are all game-changing events that should have Bitcoin trading at $150,000 or even $200,000 right now. It's been suppressed due to economic uncertainty, but once this pressure releases, we could see new all-time highs. If the government's actions don't provide relief, more market uncertainty might push Bitcoin back to its previous all-time highs of $72,000. However, there's strong support at that level, and Bitcoin could still surge to $200,000. Some experts, like Matt Hogan from Bitwise, believe Bitcoin will reach $200,000. Bitcoin is the only asset ever endorsed by the US federal government in 50 years. The only asset a US president has ever said, "Don't sell your Bitcoin." If the government seizes any other asset, real estate, art, collectibles, they would sell it. The only thing they won't sell is Bitcoin. Let me drop some insider knowledge that you won't hear anywhere else. In a conversation with the founders of Presidio Bitcoin in San Francisco, Michael Saylor shared a vital insight into the macroeconomy. He's been invited into some of the most powerful rooms in the world, from Saudi Arabia's sovereign wealth fund to meetings with billionaires. Saylor's message is clear: Bitcoin is going to move from $200 billion to $2 trillion, then $20 trillion, and eventually $200 trillion. And these billionaires are already buying in. The global rush to acquire Bitcoin has already begun. Major players, including the UAE sovereign wealth funds, Bitcoin miners, and large asset managers like Fidelity, are all significantly increasing their Bitcoin holdings. Even governments like El Salvador and US politicians are doubling down on Bitcoin. Bitcoin's global adoption is accelerating, and institutional investors are joining the race. Companies like Metaplanet have recently purchased large amounts of Bitcoin, becoming one of the largest Bitcoin treasury holders globally. Meanwhile, MicroStrategy continues to buy Bitcoin, having recently purchased an additional 130 BTC, funded by the sale of some of their preferred stock. With the next halving in sight and global empty supply steadily increasing, Bitcoin's path to new heights seems clear. The digital gold rush is underway, and if you haven't started accumulating Bitcoin yet, time is running out. With just 10 years left before 99% of Bitcoin is mined, now is the time to stack as much as possible before the supply runs out. Don't fall for the fear and don't be distracted by the volatility. Understand that the global monetary standard is shifting beneath us. Join me and hundreds of Bitcoiners at the BitBlock Boom Conference in Dallas, Texas, from April 3rd to April 6th. Meet like-minded individuals, learn how to buy, mine, and safeguard Bitcoin, and hear from top speakers in the Bitcoin space. Use promo code BB5 to get $100 off your all-inclusive ticket. This is Dan to Cook with Bitcoin Simply. Happy stacking!